Welcome to the Transformation Podcast with leading empowerment and transformation authority, Dr. Sylvia Forchap-Likambi. I am your host of the Transformation Podcast, and the Transformation Podcast is designed to bring you groundbreaking, inspirational, and life-changing content on personal development, leadership, entrepreneurship, relationships, health and well-being to empower, equip you to actually accomplish your life purpose and live a fulfilling, purposeful, healthy, and successful life. And today, we are on another episode of this groundbreaking, inspirational podcast hosted by my humble self, Dr. Sylvia Forchap-Likambi. Today, we are going to be looking at a theme that's so close to my heart. Everything we do on the Transformation Podcast is close to my heart because my purpose is to transform minds and unveil purpose. So everything I do is interrelated in a way and very close to my heart. But today, I want us to look at specifically the title, Shaping Lives, how our beliefs, perception, and mindset define the experiences we have or define our experiences in life. Too often I've heard about so many people saying, my experience is different, your experience is different, and telling others, you cannot understand what I went through, you cannot understand my story, my experiences, hence you cannot dictate to me how I've got to live my life, or you cannot undermine my complaints, my whatever it is out there. So in other words, a lot of people seem to have this idea or ideology that because each one has a diverse experience or a unique experience, sometimes we think our experiences are so unique to us, but the truth is, most of the experiences we've gone through, others have already gone through these experiences prior to us, and many more will go through these experiences after us. Because as much as we are unique and we have unique and distinct purposes, some of our purposes are kind of interlinked. Some of us are called to fulfill similar purposes on planet Earth because there is much more to serve. We have a lot of people to serve in the world. So there is room for everyone to serve in their full potential and in their purpose. And people will step in and say things like, to justify why they are in a certain life or a certain way, why they have given up, why they are struggling, and they make it so unique. Like I said to them, you cannot understand my experiences. If you were to experience the same things I experienced, then you might have been able to say something or give me advice, or you might have been able to understand. But because my experiences are different, which is why my life is the way it is, which is why I am abused, why I am depressed, why I've given up, why I'm not doing anything about it, why I've become aggressive, why I've become so passive. So you can never understand, in other words, why I'm this way. So in other words, they have resolved to stay the way they are because they know that it's my experience, it's different from yours. And it's my life, it's my story. You know how we hold our story so dear, so untouchable sometimes. It's sacred, it's untouchable. Don't mess it. Don't even share my story. You have no permission to share my story because you have no clue of what I experienced. In the course of sharing my story, you might undermine some of the pain and experiences I went through. So don't share my story. Don't partake in my experience or journey. Come on. This is not how life is meant to be. Let me make this very clear. Success is governed by principles, not by each and everyone's experience in life. People say there are many ways to success, many roads. The principles are always the same. Okay? Why our experiences might be different, will be unique, because in most cases, our experiences are tied to our divine purpose. So it is meant to shape you and guide you towards fulfilling your divine calling and purpose. And everyone will have a similar purpose, will have similar experiences. So today, my message to you is stop making your experiences so significant as if they determine who you are or your life. No, you have created those experiences. You have lived that life, every moment of that life until this moment. And those experiences have been created by you, and you cannot use them to define you or your identity. And as you continue to live, you create new experiences, which still have a role. The picture is not over yet. The experiences you've had or lived up to this point is only a tiny part of the bigger picture. You cannot be stagnant at this point in time, like you've lived it all, you've experienced it all, and it's all done. No. There are so many more possibilities and opportunities out there for you to explore, but you must have a growth mindset and not a stagnant and fixed mindset like, I've lived it all, I've seen it all, this is what life is all about. You can't tell me anything because you haven't experienced the experiences I've gone through or I have lived. They are mine, they are sacred to me. I hold them so close and dear. I've heard people even saying, I don't want to change my experiences. I don't want to change my story because my story is my identity. Come on, come on. You preceded your story. You are the one narrating this story. You are the one telling this story. You are the one shaping this narrative. You existed before this story. Your identity, in other words, existed before this story. So you cannot use something that existed before a story was formed to define the person who pre-existed or the thing that existed prior to that narrative or story. You could never use a creation, in other words, to define a creator. The creator created that creation. So the creator existed and was defined prior to creating the creation that they have created. It's exactly the same. Your experiences do not determine who you are. However, the narrative, the story you tell about your experiences, how you hold them, you interpret them, is usually responsible to how you respond to them and how they will impact your life. So beloved, what then is responsible? I want you today, as you listen to me, to come with an open heart, to come with a receptive mind. My goal is to transform your mindset so you do not conform to the old narrative. You don't stay fixated to your old experiences. There are several new experiences to explore. You've got to be imaginative, to be creative. Life is full of adventure and opportunities, but you've got to have a receptive mind, a growth mindset to embrace those opportunities and live them wholly. Allow them to change the trajectory of your life, to change the narrative, the story you tell or you've always told yourself based on what you've always experienced. There are so many facets of life. There are so many dimensions of life. There are experiences yet to live to complete our journey of life. All that we have lived up to this moment is only a tiny part of the broader picture and perspective. We cannot just settle for that narrative or experiences at this point in time when life still awaits us, when there are lots of experiences still to be lived, still to be explored, lots of stories still to be written, still to be shaped, still to be told. How could you limit yourself by staying here and now when there is still a lot more to live? What then is responsible for your life if not your experiences? What then is responsible for the narrative if not your experiences? I'll tell you straight away. Your beliefs, your mindset, and your perception about life as a whole, about who you are above all, because you are the sole factor or ingredient in this life, in this equation, in this journey called life that is constant. Wherever you go, wherever you find yourself, you are constant. The experiences might change, the people might change, the experiences might be different, the people might be different. You are always the one that shapes the narrative in that given point, and that makes that story relatable to you and your experiences, and you can share that to the world as part of your journey, your life journey and experiences. But there is something more fundamental that determines the experiences we have, and above all, how they influence and impact us, how they affect our life. They are responsible for the stories we tell. Your beliefs, these are the fundamental pillars, the foundational pillars that shape our life experiences and overall narrative, not the other way around. It can never be the experiences we live that shape who we are. They are the core beliefs we have, the way we think, how we think, our perception about our life, who we are, the things we go through in life, the experiences, our perception about that will determine the experiences we live and the overall impact they have on us and how they influence our lives and the stories we tell about ourselves and to others. Why do I say so? I love to use analogies a lot. I love to use analogies. It becomes so simple, so simplified for you to think. I also give you the opportunity to widen your mindset, to widen your thoughts, to widen your imagination, to shape the narrative of the message I'm giving you. So I'm not just feeding you, take this, that, and that. You can explore, dissect, and take it in the way you want to take it, from whatever angle you want to receive it. So let me give you this simple analogy. Why I said the foundational pillar, the key determining factors of your experiences in life, and how they shape you, and the stories, the meaning you give to those experiences are your beliefs, your core beliefs, which will eventually shape the way you think about yourself, about who you are, and about the experiences you encounter and live. And also about your perception in life. This is the bedrock at the very top. The beliefs, mindset, then now perception is how we see, understand, and interpret. So the beliefs you hold are there. They are beliefs, no one sees them, no one knows about them. Your thoughts as well, your mindset, the way you think, no one knows your thoughts until you speak them out. No one knows your beliefs until they come out in the form of words or in the form of your actions. The same with your thoughts, which is why it says, as we think, so we are. But our thoughts are birthed from the beliefs, the core beliefs, foundational pillars that shape us and who we are. So, in other words, your beliefs about who you are, why you went through a certain situation or, experience, and the thoughts you have about that. Oh, I went through this because of this. I think it's because of this, that. I think they were abusive. I think all of those thoughts, we don't know them. We don't know them. They dwell within you. You become aware of that. You become aware. You pay attention to the beliefs you hold about yourself when it comes to a given area. Maybe in terms of confidence, public speaking, in terms of your relationship with others, in terms of your health and well-being, whatever beliefs you hold about yourself. For example, I believe I'm beautiful. I believe I'm so intelligent and wise. I believe I'm beautiful and wonderfully made. If you believe this way, then you think you're beautiful and wonderfully made. You will think you are special, unique, and amazing. You will think you are wise and intelligent. And eventually, you'll speak that out, and you will live that. You will act like an intelligent, wise person. You will act as a healthy person. In fact, we become what we believe in. So you will express your beliefs and thoughts in your physical reality. In other words, your experiences will be aligned with your beliefs and your thoughts. You will live the beliefs you hold. You will live the thoughts you hold, which is why it says, as a man thinks, so he is. because we begin to express ourselves through our thoughts. Why you don't see my thoughts, you don't know my thoughts, but you see them through my physical actions and expression in my daily living. And those are what we come up to be experiences. When I live this way on day 1 of my life when I was born, day 2, day 3, and maybe I'm 20, 40, 50, 60 years now, they are all the experiences that I have had. A sum total of all my experiences up till this point, and there are many more experiences still to be lived. And these experiences again will be created by the beliefs I hold and the mindset I have and my broader perception. And what is perception? Like I said, why is it important in this final stage before we express? Because our experiences are what we live, is the manifestation of what is within us, the beliefs we hold, the thoughts we have, our mindset, and our perception about our life, about life in general. So perception is how you see, understand, and interpret something. You become aware of something, you see it in a certain way, you understand it in that way, and hence you interpret it in that way. When you interpret it that way, your understanding, your interpretation of it will determine your response. Take for example, you see a lion, or I see a lion. What I see is a lion. My understanding about a lion is that they are fierce, they're wild, they kill humans, they eat humans up. My interpretation of the lion I see is danger. I've got to run for my life, or I will be killed and eaten up by the lion, because they are dangerous. They are wild. They don't play with humans, they kill humans, they use humans for their food. And that will determine my experience after seeing a lion. Will determine whether I panic, become afraid, and run for my dear life to save my dear life, or when I stand there. For a small child who is still naive, wow, they may think they've just seen another toy. That's a moving toy. That moves majestically. That has eyes like them. That has legs that are different. They walk. And they may understand that, wow, it's something they can play with it and interpret it that way, so that child will not be afraid. That child will not run from that animal. The child will walk through or walk towards that lion, the same lion that I, an adult, more mature, flee from, because of my understanding and interpretation of what a lion means to me. It's the same lion and that child. In some cases, the lion may play with the child. We've seen that. In some African countries, they don't harm them because it's like they can experience the innocence of the child. It says perfect love casts out all fear. That child is authentically loved. That child has unconditional love even for that lion. That child has no harm, will not harm the lion. The lion also understands humans harm them. We kill them as well. We hurt them and destroy them. But maybe in that child, the lion experiences pure unconditional love. So the lion doesn't hurt that child. Pure love casts out all fear. The lion is not afraid of the child is not afraid of the lion. It's exactly the same thing. But my perception and that child's perception are completely different. Hence, our experiences are opposite and completely different. I can now not use my experiences to tell you, because I ran away from that lion. And then I fell, I hurt myself. I had a great trauma from seeing lions, because that made me to fall. And now maybe I've lost a limb and all of that. That's my experience. And when someone tells you, oh, you know what, it's your mindset. You can just play with lions. They are kind, they are loving. You know, a child can play with a lion without harming them. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying leave your child unattended to go play with a lion. Okay, that's why children have to be supervised at every given moment, because they don't know danger. To the pure, all things are pure. They are innocent and naive. And I've seen cases, like I said, heard of cases and stories where lions have come and walked and even cared for children and not harmed them. Even snakes have played around children and not harmed them. So if you see, we cannot now say when that child grows up to explain her experience, We start saying, oh, you can't deny my experience. You can't nullify my experience. You must run when you identify a traitor. You must run when you identify, a narcissist. You must run. And we make all of these stories that inflict more fear of the unknown, what we really don't know and understand. You can tell that child, your experiences are different, so you cannot teach me. The child is using a principle. It's the mindset of that child that was important. The key distinguishing factors here are the mindset. Your mindset about a lion is that lions are dangerous. A lion means danger. A child's mindset is like, a lion is a friend. It's a friend, and that is shaped by the child's belief. I believe that's just another beautiful creature. They might not even know creature, but it looks like one of my toys. The only difference is that they are moving. And your belief is that they are toxic, they are dangerous. Do you see what I mean? And what we can change, which is why it says when we change those limiting beliefs, we can ultimately change our lives. Which is why we have mentors, because success is governed by principles. Success is not an individual thing. You cannot say, no, my own experiences will determine my success. You cannot teach me. Else we won't have mentors. We have mentors in other fields. A mentor who has succeeded in the field of sports can mentor someone who wants to succeed in the field of engineering. Why not in the specifics of the career path? Engineering, because they know nothing about that, but in the specifics about mindset, beliefs, and how powerful they are in shaping your experiences, whatever that experience you want to be, whatever that experience is. Your beliefs are fundamental. The way you think about yourself and about that thing that you want to achieve is fundamental. And that story is the same. That principle is the same. A principle to determine success is created by the manufacturer of their product or the creator of that product, which has to succeed, and never by the product itself. So we cannot start just laying things because of my experiences. Experiences are the physical manifestation, but they come from deep within. The beliefs you hold, the thoughts you think, your mindset, and your perception about life as a whole, or about that situation, which will determine your understanding and interpretation of that, and hence your response, and how you live the situation, and how it affects and impacts your life. Never the other way around. Transformation is never from the external inward. The experiences you have lived are externally. It can never determine your life or transform your life. The transformation comes from inside out and create better experiences that you would rather have if you want to move from the old experiences, because you have a growth mindset. You are receptive. You want to learn and grow. Then you need to have the transformation from inside out. Your beliefs, your way of thinking, changing, being transformed, so they can shape your perception about that same situation. So your narrative, your story and experiences will now be different. Or even if the experiences have to be the same, the story you tell, the story you craft, the story you write about that experience will be completely different now, because it's based on your mindset that has grossly shifted from that of a fixed and stagnant mindset to that of a growth and productive mindset. So you tell the story differently. You write the story differently to be able to tell it differently. Your narrative is different. I want to give you this analogy. Another analogy. Think about a seed. Okay? There is a principle how seeds are sown, nurtured, and grow. Then they may produce fruits. There is a season for sowing, and there is a season for harvest. No matter what you do, no matter how special and unique you think you are, each seed has its own season. The understanding, like I said, each person based on their purpose have distinct purposes, and they'll go through distinct experiences which will align with their purpose, which will shape and empower them with the tools, resources they need to fulfill their divine purpose. So your experiences will be definitely different from mine, but the principle that governs those experiences so you may succeed will be the same. If you sow during the season of sowing, and you ensure that when you sow, you don't abandon the seed and leave, you nurture and nourish the seed. First of all, the ground on which you sow the seed must be fertile. If you sow it on the wrong ground, on a ground that does not give birth to growth, that cannot be actually It's not fertile, a fertile ground, a fertile soil is like a growth mindset. It's a fertile mindset. It's not a stagnant mindset. A stagnant mindset is a barren mindset. It doesn't give birth to anything. Anything that comes to it is stagnant, stays the way it is. Any ground that is barren, anything that comes to it stays the way it is, or even worse if it has to. It does not give life. It does not produce more. It does not produce fruits. So when your mind is stagnant, it's exactly the same thing. So think about that seed. Why an orange seed is different from a mango seed? Something is common. There's a common denominator amongst all these seeds, be it an orange, an apple, a mango seed, a tangerine seed, a lemon seed. They all have to be sown and nurtured on a fertile ground, a ground that is able to nurture and nourish them so they can be productive, so they can grow and produce their fruits. It cannot be on a rock, it cannot be on a barren ground, it cannot be on a stagnant ground. And it must be nourished. You cannot abandon it after sowing. And while you nourish it, there will be the process of growth. And eventually the season of harvest. The season of growth can never substitute the season of harvest. Or harvest or maturation can never take place in the season of growth. It is the growth stage, and then producing the fruits and the maturation of the fruits in another phase of this growth cycle. So while you are different, say you are an orange seed, you must still be sown in a fertile ground. You cannot tell me because you've been left out there all your life, your experiences are different, and I should understand why you dislike the soil, why you dislike the ground. Maybe you were once abused under the ground. You can tell me that there is only one way to succeed and thrive in your purpose, whatever that purpose is, and to live a fulfilling experience and life, whatever those experiences will be. If you abide by the principles, the laws that govern your success, your growth, maturation, and success. And you have to wait. There is a season. While your season of, maturation may be different, of harvest may be different if you are an orange seed from that of a mango seed. However, in the season called harvest, we can start expecting fruits if they have been sown, nurtured while they were seed. And if we go backward, if they were sown on a fertile ground, nurtured, nourished, and then they have grown, and of course they've been pruned as well, kept away from, pests, insects, snakes, and all of that, so they are not destroyed. Weeds, so they are not choked, and they die a natural death before they even see the light of the day. If you have done all of those things, rest assured, in the season of harvest, you will have your beautiful, ultimate fruits to serve those who have to nourish from those fruits. So, the fruits are like those experiences we live. Is the outward manifestation of what is trapped within the seed. I will repeat. The fruits of that seed that was once sown during the sowing season and nurtured during the season of growth, which eventually grew and became fruits. That fruit is the outward manifestation of the potential trapped within the seed. The seed has determined the outward expression of the fruit that you are seeing right now. It's never the experiences, it's never the fruits that have shaped and determined the seeds. Though within those fruits will have the same seeds, but they were born from the potential trapped within them. They were born from the dream they were pregnant with the fruits they were pregnant with that were not yet fruits. They were still in the seed, trapped as potential, untapped, undeveloped, uncovered, just in that form of seed. Your experiences are the physical, outward manifestation of your core beliefs, of your thoughts, the way you think, and your perception about life. I will repeat, your experiences, the stories you tell about your experiences, the narratives, and how they impact and influence your life. and determine whether you will bless others. Like when they eat those fruits, they benefit from the nourishment of the fruits. Whether you will be a blessing to people through your experiences, whether your experiences will result in blessing other people's lives, no matter what those experiences were. Remember, they may be bad, good, or whatever. It is the narrative, it is the story we tell that give meaning to those experiences, and they are shaped from inward, from the internal, never from the external, by the beliefs we hold. Why we had to go through that experience? Because I believe I'm a conqueror. I had to go through the battle to be able to fight that battle. The toughest people, the toughest enemies, so I may conquer them, and then in my physical reality you may see the victory. You may see the end of that war, that fight, and I was a conqueror. I was the victory. I was the victor. And so you can learn from me. I conquered the greatest of all enemies. I had to live that experience. But my story of it is not the fight or the blows I took. It's not the pain. It's not the times that I bled because of the eyes that were punched. That's not my story. My story is I went through that, so I may persevere, because I see the end. I see the final fruit. I see the impact of my story. I see the impact, the purpose of my journey. I see the purpose of my experiences to shape and transform another life, to encourage and inspire them to not give up, because I conquered. I overcame, to tell them that there is still hope. You too can overcome. These are the strategies I use to dodge the blows, to heal the wounds, to keep my focus off the blows, the wind, or the enemy, and keep my focus on my purpose, on the final prize, on the final story I want to tell, on the meaning I want to give to my story. So when I share it, I impact and count and transform countless lives. The lives of those who have similar experiences like me, because they have a similar life path and purpose like me. So we may inspire many more. Our experiences are never meant to break us. Every experience in life is worthy and valuable, and has the power to transform your life and the lives of others. The difference whether that experience will transform your life and the lives of others, or it will break you, is the meaning you give to that experience, which will shape the stories you tell about that experience and the impact it has on you and on the lives of those who listen to those stories. The choice is yours, beloved. But again, it stems from the depth of your beliefs, of the beliefs you hold about yourself, who you are, who you represent. Podcast. So like I was saying, it will determine the narrative, the story you tell will determine how those experiences will impact you and the lives of those whom you share those experiences with. Beloved, I want you to take some time and ask yourself these questions, because we now know they are not the experiences we have lived that define who we are, our identity, or that give meaning to our lives. They are the meaning we give to those experiences that will shape how they impact and influence our lives and the lives of others, not the other way around. So in this case, I want you to think about this. I want you to think about the source of your experiences. The way you're putting your experiences out there, the way it's affecting you. What's the source of your experiences? Like the source of my fruits that you see. If I have a mango fruit, the source is the mango seed. If it stems from that seed, then I'm definitely gonna produce mangoes. The seed determines the fruits. The beliefs you hold determine the experiences you live. What are your core beliefs? What's the source of your belief? What shaped those beliefs that you hold today about yourself, about the situation you are going through, that makes you give it a certain meaning and not another? That makes you write a certain storyline and not another. That makes you interpret the experiences in a certain way and not another. And that makes you, allow those experiences to impact you in a certain way and not another. Where is the source of that belief? Where is the source of your thoughts? Who is the source of your thoughts? Where do those beliefs stem up from? The beliefs about the experiences, the stories you tell, the meaning you give to those experiences. Where do they stem forth from? Are they yours? Who shaped them if they are yours? What's the source of the belief? Are they your thoughts, or someone else thought this means that and that and that, and you took their perception, their thoughts, and used it to share your stories, to give meaning to your experiences? So where is that mindset from? Is this a growth mindset? What's your mindset like? The mindset that actually defines the way you look at those experiences and tell the stories you are telling today. Is that mindset a growth one? A mindset that's open to take, advice, to take counsel, to take other experiences, to live other new experiences. A mindset that's open to creativity, to exploration, to explore the life that is ahead of you, still to be lived, rather than a fixed and stagnant mindset that says, I've seen it all, I've had it all. Deja vu. You can't tell me anything more about life. You're too young. You haven't seen all what I've seen. Ripping yourself of seeing what the future holds for you, of seeing the blessings and opportunities and possibilities trapped on this day called present, which is a gift to you and me, as well as the gifts that are yet to come, tomorrow and the days to come. Because you're stagnant, you're limited, you finished growing. Your mindset says, it's over, I've seen it all, I know it all. You can't tell me something else. You can't tell me any other thing. You haven't lived this experience. It's mine. I protect it. Don't touch it. Don't interpret it. It's mine. As if experiences are something that we keep and we hold and we can put a fence and a boundary around. Come on. Anybody can use them. That's why people consistently share the experiences of others to empower and inspire others. They use them as positive role models because it's a path that we take from the experiences of others that we can take and share with our world to build them. Or some people take the negatives and share with others to destroy them. It is out there. It's part of the strategies and tools we have in nature to succeed. But some of us use the negative ones so that we can fail. Which is why success is predictable and failure is predictable, because they are governed by principles. All we need to do, apply certain principles, have a stagnant mindset. We are doomed to failure, condemnation, victimization, because we are not ready to explore the opportunities again, to be able to conquer the battles we are yet to fight. We have already made the decision, condemn ourselves. We've been defeated. We are now victims. We have now been imprisoned. We've been taken as slaves, and it's finished for us. Though we continue to live, we are merely existing because there's no life and passion in us, because we've lived it all. There is nothing new in life. There is nothing more exciting in life. And the life we live, some of us, are boring and really stagnant and terrible and degrading and depressive, that we are like, nothing more to live. What's the essence of even wanting to live or look at something new, a different experience? And then we justify and make excuses, so we hold it as a comfort blanket to keep us in that environment, to shield us from being touched or affected by others' thoughts and opinions amongst us. And think about it, we form a tribe of those who have gone through similar experiences and are given the negative story, who have decided not to grow again, because tribe is a fixed thing. People with growth mindset form mastermind. There's constant expansion and growth. They don't form tribes. I just don't like this thing when I hear about circle. We have a women's circle or cycle, whatever they call it. We have a circle, we have a tribe. It's just the same thing. Customs, traditions. We are beyond traditions when we live with a growth mindset. Visionaries don't abide by traditions. They create a way that has never existed. They create new paths that never existed. They build ways in the wilderness that never existed. Weavers, because they believe in the ultimate promises and purpose in their life by their Creator God. They have a vision for a better future and a better life. So they cannot be dwelled on traditions. The vision have not yet been seen by eyes, have not yet been experienced, because it's an internal mental image of the life they are called to live, and it's in their mind. So they may be motivated and driven to take actions, to live those experiences that will shape their path, so they may fulfill that purpose and become all that they were destined to become, irrespective of the past experiences or present experiences. So beloved, let go of this mindset of holding too tight to your experiences. And when people want to tell you can be better, you say, oh, your experience is different from mine. Or when they show you people who went through similar experiences, but they are thriving, you say, everyone has a unique story. That's their story, I heard about this recently in a conversation, this incredible, beautiful lady. And when I said something, she said this to me. I'm sorry I'm sharing this, but obviously I do share the things that I go through, and I don't think she's going to mind it anyway. I'm not going to call any names. I use my experiences, of course, like I said, to shape and build others so they may thrive and triumph as well. We were just talking about life. Of course, I'm someone who is so visionary. I'm consistently transformed through the renewal of my mind by God's divine purpose and plan for my life. So we're talking about this, and she's now moved to Cameroon. She's doing really well, and she was telling me the things she's accomplished in Cameroon. She would never have accomplished them if she could have stayed here, and all of that. And I saw her point, and I said, well done, you're doing amazing. Really, I congratulate you. But I don't see my life, my vision, my purpose is not in Cameroon. And I strongly believe, because she was saying that we only thrive in our countries of birth. I'm like, no, I don't think so. And I was naming people who have actually triumphed and excelled. And I think she was saying, I'm going out of the narrative. I can't really understand that well anyway. I can't understand what she was saying well, but it's like I had to be within a certain prescription, or I don't know, prescriptive box to give examples. So I couldn't quote someone like Nelson Mandela, maybe like Obama, who was born from a Kenyan parent, and all of that. We went on and we kept talking, and I said, wow, she mentioned something, why it meant so much, like this experience she had. Once in an office, they've had a beautiful day, a great working day, a very productive working day. And when it was time for lunch, the caterers came in, or those who had to cater for their lunch came in and asked everybody's order, and they gave some wonderful, beautiful African dishes. I want ekwang, I want this. That was amazing. And they just brought it in, and everybody sat there and have this glorious, wonderful, delicious meal. And she just thought of it, of course, if she were here. She looked at the environment, and for once, she said, wow, how it felt like working amongst blacks. Everyone is black, eating my African food and just having this wonderful moment. How incredible. And I listened, and it was so beautiful listening to her share this. And I'm like, wow. And I said, wow, I can really see, of course, and I know people are different. It's really the mindset. For me, I was looking at it at the mindset, because the mindset is like, working in my country, in a place where we are all blacks, whatever that mindset is, her mindset, okay? But I now looked at it because I know my mindset shaped the experiences I have, never the other way around. So I said, it's interesting. You know what? When I worked in the Royal Hospital, it took me about 5 years before I uncovered that I was the only black in that hospital. She said, really? I said, honestly, when I went for that job, I knew I was going for that job because I was qualified. I had everything they needed. They needed someone with a PhD, a doctor in this, who had these experiences. It was never about color or race or where you came from. And I was Cameroonian then. I lived in Italy. They had to send me a sponsorship letter and tell the embassy, the British embassy in Rome, in Italy, why they will be inviting me to get this job. Have they not looked amongst their own citizens and those from the EU countries? Why would they choose someone from an African country? I told her this. So for me, it never really mattered. I don't think in those ways of color. I know that the power, the values, my intelligence, my knowledge, my asset, my gifts, what I have is what the world is looking for. If I can solve problems and they are looking for someone to solve the problem, then they need me. My skin color is irrelevant, because my skin color is not what gives me that knowledge, intelligence, wisdom, or qualities and skills that I have. So I said, yeah, truly, because I don't focus on skin. You know, I was going there every day. I know these are my colleagues. I gave her another example. I studied in Italy for 10 days. My daughter, my first daughter, is named after my Italian grandmom. Even my parents call her my Italian grandmom. She's amazing. She was amazing. She's of late. Fulvia. This woman, Italian, I've never known her. She took me like her own child. I would say grandchild because she was elderly. She cared for me like you care for a grandchild. Why would I see color? And to me, that was a grandmother. When my dad spoke to me, he said, how's your grandma? My mom, how's your grandma? That was my grandmother. I made her understand that, you know, it's like those who are truly your sisters may not be blood sisters. So the mindset is how I see people. I see them as, if they love me, I love them, as love, as a reflection of God's creation. And of course, we are all God's creation. We are created in God's sight as equal, as all His children. They are the experiences of those who have gone ahead and used their experiences to shape the identity that have now transformed some of us who were ignorant and naive in our identity. We just identified ourselves as humans, children of God. And that's why if you get two children from different races, there is no discrimination based on color. They don't even realize that they have different skin color when they are still young. They don't even realize. It's just like you don't realize I spend time with my team, my staff, my colleague. If you ask me every day what color of clothes they wear, it's irrelevant, it's insignificant. I don't pay attention. If you ask me what clothes I wore yesterday, even maybe I can't tell you. After 3 days, I keep changing my clothes. It's irrelevant. The person that's important is the person that wears that clothes. The person that's important is the person that wears that color. Our God is a God of color and variety. I cannot say my experiences because I encountered racism. Racism has now made me to say everyone who is white is racist and they are really evil. Tell my children, oh, beware when you meet them. No, my experiences. I met a woman who never knew me as a stranger, a strange woman. She received me like her own, like her daughter, and cared for me like one. Why should I look at her color? A sister may be from different color. I told her all of my Italian friends, we were so close. Even till now, we don't speak that often, but to me, they were sisters. They had visited me after I came to Italy. We had a powerful bond that kept us together. It was never about color. Again, it's the mindset. It's my belief. I believe we are all created in God's image. I believe we are all God's image. We are love. I believe the only true life in us we're born with is love. That's why when we actually express love, true unconditional love, there can be no evil in our world. There can be no hatred, for hatred is the absence of love. So you see, it's my belief set that shapes my mindset and way of thinking. And I don't look at color when I get into place. I look at skills, qualification, who can do the job well, who is qualified. It doesn't matter whether they wear green, yellow, what shape and color they come in. And those who have had those experiences, you see, they hold on to that. My experience of racism is sacred, it's mine. Don't tell my story. I was abused, I was battered. Look at our 4 parents. I was saying this today in the Women of Faith group. I do a daily Spirit-filled message on this Women of Faith group. I share it on my YouTube channel as well, on the Women of Faith podcast. And I was saying this, that too often we allow our experiences, the negative experiences we've had, we hold on to them, the past trauma. We fail to see the new. We fail to see the present in front of us. We fail to see the opportunities in front of us. We want to stay stuck in our past, that traumatic past, and allow it to shape our every existence and moment of existence, rather than living life in the present, in the now, and focusing on our future, our purpose, and allowing it to shape us. I shared with them that we have the hippocampus where we keep memories. We are meant to forget the former things if they don't serve us. We are not meant to hold on to them. because they are actually messages to shape others and give them hope. Our messages are always to shape others and give them hope, never to break them. Never to break them. It's to encourage others. We go through so the road may be clearer for others. The way may be easier for others because we can show them how we navigated the way and paths that they can avoid, pitfalls that they can avoid because we've once walked that path. So I explained to them that, but for some of us, we want to get stuck there. Even our hippocampus, where we store memories. Our hippocampus, in its lifetime, 1/3 of the memories are replaced by new creations and all of that. That's why our mind is neuroplastic. Before the thought that they are the brains that we had from childhood, the stem cells that we had, that we grow and then they are formed. They are no more stem cells. Stem cells are the cells that can grow and produce any other part of our body. The thought that in the brain we cannot have any stem cells, they are what we grow from childhood. So we'll be able to keep all our memories from childhood to these days. To this day we'll be doomed to all the post-traumatic disorder. But thank God, because He knew that He's not giving us a spirit of fear, but of love, power, and sound mind. And He knew that we have the power to rewrite our story, and the story, the meaning we give to the story, and to use our story and challenges to shape the world. So He gave us the opportunity to forget the former things. And science has shown in new research studies that people who are very creative, vision-driven, they forget a lot because they don't remember things that don't save them. They need to create space and room for creativity, for the new inventions they need to create. And I was saying in the scripture that says, forget not, remember not the former things. That's Isaiah 43, I think 18 to 19. Remember not the former things and the old things. Forget the past. Forget the old things. Can't you perceive it? I'm doing a new thing in your life. But because you are so focused on the past, you are holding us to those experiences. This is who I am. You can allow me to give you a new experience, to allow you to explore in new terrains and domains that you've never walked before, in new uncharted soil that you've never sown before. I'm giving you a new fertile soil, a new productive mindset for you to nurture and nourish and sow the dreams you've once dreamed of but have never lived and experienced. So you may experience a new type of experience. So beloved, if anything doesn't serve you, let go. Our experiences are meant to serve us as testimonial, as a testimony of success, not to share, to break others, as a stumbling block, as the falling sword. No, it's not to come and show you the bleed or mention the person who caused me to bleed. It's to show you the scar, that though I have 50,000 scars, I healed. Because I healed and they are now scarred, I'm no longer bleeding. I healed from those wounds because my cells have the power to rejuvenate, to renew. I have the power to create new. They have the power to create new cells and overcome the past and wipe off the past experiences and heal the bleeding. So you too, in these trying moments of pain, of bleeding, you can overcome because I overcame. I shared with them. We go through some of those challenges, some of those dens of the lions, like Daniel did. Not to talk about the lions, how terrible they are, how bad that enemy was, the people who plan to throw you in the lions den, but to talk about the magnificence and glory of your God that could rescue me even amongst the lions, that could rescue me even in the hottest furnace. I was not burned into ashes. I rose stronger than ever before to give hope to others. So beloved, change your mindset today. Above all, the beliefs. Your beliefs are the foundational pillar. Your beliefs, your mindset, and your perception about life that will shape and determine the experiences you live today, and how those experiences will impact and transform your lives and the lives of others. Whether they will build and edify your life and take you to the next level of growth and success, or they will destroy and condemn your life. And when they take you to the next level of growth and success, because you've utilized them, taking the lessons from them, allowing them to shape you to be your best self, and not using them to build as a stumbling block, you will also be able to transform the lives of others going through similar experiences and leave a lasting legacy, even when you are long gone. So beloved, you've been listening to the wonderful Dr. Sylvia Forchap-Likambi on the Transformation Podcast. And today's episode has been looking at how we could allow our perception, mindset, and beliefs to shape the experiences we have. Shaping lives. Our beliefs, mindset, and perception are the foundational pillars, are the foundational blocks that define our experiences, never the other way around. Don't hold your experiences so sacred to you. They are meant to serve you and serve others. Gain new experiences. Have an open mind, a growth mindset, so you may rewrite your story. You may live a new experience. You may see that the Lord is doing a new thing in your life as you sprout and spring forth as a new creation, with the old gone and the new has come. So you may live the life you have dreamed of living and the experiences you've dreamed of experiencing. You've been listening to the wonderful Dr. Sylvia Forchap-Likambi on the Transformation Podcast. Do subscribe on my YouTube channel. Share the podcast to bless someone. My goal this year is to impact and transform 10 million lives. Through my podcasts, my programs, my books, my diverse workshops I share, my mentoring and coaching, and I do have some coaching and mentoring opportunities. Get in touch with me if you want to be coached and mentored, so you may rewrite your story. You may rewrite the experiences you've lived. You may change the way you tell the experiences or your story. You may start changing the meaning you tie onto your experiences because your mindset and your beliefs are transformed. So reach out to me and let me hold your hands, and let's work together and soar to greater heights. Living the life you were born to live, allowing your fundamental beliefs, thoughts, and thought patterns to shape your reality, which will be shaped, by the way, by your perception of what reality is all about. You have a wonderful and a glorious day. And here is Dr. Sylvia Forchap-Likambi, the founder and CEO of Voice of Nations, Global Visionary Women Networks, Global Chair, Dr. Sylvia Likambi International Health and Wellbeing Clinic, and many more other companies, Likambi Global Publishing. Let us help you share your message with the world by writing your story so you can produce that best-selling book and share that with the world and change the narrative, the meaning you're giving to your story, so you may give hope to someone else. You may share your testimony to uplift someone else who needs that as they go through similar challenges like you. God bless you, and you have a wonderful and a glorious week. Do share, do subscribe to my YouTube channel, get some of my groundbreaking books, and your mindset will be transformed, and ultimately your life. God bless, and have a magnificent and a glorious day. It's Dr. Sylvia Forchap-Likambi. Thank you.